First, it was COVID. Then it was social unrest, widespread. The truth is that change is happening at an unprecedented rate. And brands need to respond. Brands are part of this conversation. But when every step that a brand takes seems fraught, how do we move brands forward when everything is changing? Building a brand that's ready for the future, no matter what the future holds, revolves around a concept that we call flexibility in a framework. Your brand needs to be able to flex to meet the moment, but the framework itself has to remain strong and solid. And so as we think about that, we have a few principles that we can put into place that will allow your brand to have that flexibility in the framework that's going to be so successful. So the first principle is what we call build from the core. If your core is strong, just like in any kind of strength training, if your core musculature is strong, it allows for greater flexibility. So build your brand from the core, build your brand response from the core. What is the core? That means that it's your purpose, it's your position, it's your values. These become more and more important outside of your about page on your website. This is really where they begin to shine. And if your actions are aligned with your core, then your response will be credible and consumers will reward that with choice. The second is just around the idea of doing good. As we look long term across consumer trends, where not only consumer trends are heading, but where the industry is headed, is that brands that just do good are good corporate citizens. Whatever that looks like for each brand, those are the brands that will win. So by doing good, you're not just making a statement, but you are investing in meaningful and relevant action to your brand to back up what your statement is. The third principle, we call it just look inside. And that is the idea that your employees and your employee experience are as important as your external audience. So they need to understand where you stand, what actions you're taking, so that they can then advocate that, and that employee experience then translates into customer experience, which then translates into brand experience. The fourth is lead with empathy. This is a drum that we will always continue to beat, that you simply look through your customers or your members' eyes and you meet people where they are. You deliver the messages, the actions, and the support that help to get them where they need to go. And finally, and this is perhaps one of the simplest and yet most complex principles to put into place, which is something that we just call steady on. The world is going to shift. There will be moments that your brand has to transform some of its marketing and look to new channels to meet your audiences where they are. But the fundamentals of your brand and who you are and your approach to marketing and your product and service offering are still intact and they still apply. So that steady on approach will be what gets a long-term win.